Hello everyone, let's solve the problem number 56, merge intervals. So what the question states here, we are given an intervals where each interval is represented as start comma end. You can clearly see here, this one they are speaking of 1 and 3. 1 is start and 3 is the end. 2 is start, 6 is end, 8 is start, 10 is end, 15 is start and 18 is end here. So we have been given the intervals where each interval is represented as start end. We have to merge all overlapping intervals. So previous problem we already know that how to merge, right? So again we'll be discussing the same, not to worry. So here in this case we have to merge all the intervals and return an array of non-overlapping intervals. So just keep this in mind, we have to return an array of non-overlapping intervals that fully cover all the intervals from the input. So that has to fully cover the all intervals from input. That's what they have given in the question. So here in this case, let's come to the first example. Just keep in mind that we have to merge all overlapping intervals and return an array of non-overlapping intervals that fully cover all intervals from the input, right? So just keep this in mind, this sentence. So let me come to the first example here. We have 1, 3, 2, 6, 8, 10, 15 and 8. This one we are considering here. So 1, 6 basically 1, 3 and 2, 6. This one, second one 2, 6 is in between 1, 3. So this is overlapping right here. 8, 10 and 15, 18, this is not overlapping. So this is fine. 1, 3 is also fine. So 1, 3 is fine. 2, 6 basically this is between 1, 3, 2, 6. So this we will merge. So 1, 3, how we merge? Basically we have 1, 3 and 2, 6. We will take the least from the lowest number from the left coordinate, and we will take the largest number from the right coordinate, right? So least number from the left coordinate is 1 from 1, 3 and 2, 6, and the largest number from this one is 6 here in this case. So it will be 1, 6, right? So 1, 6. So after merging 2, 6 with 1, 3, we got 1, 6, right? So 8, 10 and 15, 18 remains same here in this case. 8, 10 and this one 15, 18 remains same here in this case, right? So this we need to return as output. That's what they have asked in the question as well, right? So here you can clearly see output 1, 6, 8, 10, 15, 18. Since intervals 1, 3 and 2, 6 overlap, we have to merge them into 1, 6. That's what they have given in the explanation. That's what I have said this one before, right? So this is fine. Let's come to the second example here. Intervals we have 1, 4 and 4, 5. Here this overlaps, right? This second one overlaps with the 1, 4. So we have to merge 4, 5 with 1, 4. So in this case, so 1 and 4, among 1 and 4, 1 is the least. So I'll consider 1 here. Among 4 and 5, here 5 is the largest number or greatest number. So largest number. So we'll consider this one. So the output that we need to this one get here as 1, 5. So that's what they have mentioned here in the output. So explanation they have clearly mentioned here. Intervals 1, 4 and 4, 5 are considered. So just a second here. Let me delete this one. Yeah, 4, 5 are considered overlapping here on this case. This is fine. So output is 1, 5. This is fine. So the next step here is this one. Now we are. I hope the question is completely clear. They have given wonderful examples just for the sake of understanding as well. Now first let's discuss the approach first, followed by the edge cases one by one, and then finally write the code and discuss the complexities for the code that we have written. Initially, let's discuss the approach first. So here, the first thing that we need to note down here is we'll be going with the greedy plus sorting. So we'll be basically going with the greedy approach plus sorting, right? So here in this case, I have considered the same first example that they have given in the question: 1, 3, 2, 6, 8, 10, and 15, 8. So these two gets merged, right? So this is overlapping and we have to merge this one. So when we merge this one, so least of 1, 2 is 1, and this becomes 3, 6 is 6 largest. So this becomes 1, 6, and 8, 10 and 15, 18 remains same. So the output will be quite obviously 1, 6, 8, 10 and 15, 18. We have already discussed this one. Let's move on with the next step or the step-by-step explanation here. Let's go with the step-by-step explanation here. Nums 1, 3, we have got 1, 3, 2, 6, 8, 10 and 15, 18. This is fine. So the same first example we have considered here. First we will sort the intervals. When here in this case, for this particular example, this is already sorted, right? So this is already sorted. So still we need to sort because we are going with other test cases as well, right? So this is not the only test case. In this case, it is sorted. So 1, 3, 2 comma 6, 8 comma 10, 15 comma 18. In this case, when I say it is sorted, the first number has to be the least and the second number has to be the greater than the first number. Same goes with the next one. See here, this one has to be greater than this one. 2 has to be greater than 1, and this one, the number 6, this one has to be greater than 3. It is, right? So here same goes with the next number. So 8 has to be greater than 2 and 10 has to be greater than 6. It is, right? So same goes with the next number. So this is completely sorted, right? In this case it is already sorted. We still have to sort because we have to consider other test cases as well, right? So let's move on with the second the second step here. We have to initialize an empty result. Nothing but we have to store the result somewhere. We are storing that one in the merge. So merge, we are initializing this one to the empty array. Nothing but we are initializing an empty result list here on this case, right? So let's move on with the third step here. Let's process each interval here. We have to process each interval. When I say we have to process each interval here, interval of 1 comma 3, this one is, this merged is empty. So merged is first we are going with the initialization part, right? So the first one, 1 comma 3 here, merged is nothing but the result list. Merge, we have initialized this one to the empty array, right? So this we have initially it is null, it doesn't contain anything. So merged is empty. In this case we will be adding 1 comma 3 to this one. So we have successfully added 1 comma 3. So next let's go with the 2 comma 6, this one. So we are going with the 2 comma 6. We have already considered 1 comma 3. Let's go with the 2 comma 6 here. So I'll just come here. When I say interval 2 comma 6, it overlaps with the last 1 comma 3 because 2 comma 6 overlaps with the 1 comma 3, right? We have discussed this one several times. So what we will do, we'll merge. When we merge, this becomes 1 comma 3. We have already discussed how it becomes 1 comma 3. So what we will do here, this becomes 1 comma 6, sorry. What we will do here, we will replace this one 1 comma 3 and 2 comma 6 by 1 comma 6 here in this case, right? So we are pushing this one 1 comma 6 to the list first, right? So next let's move on with the 8 comma 10. So here no overlap with 1 comma 6, right? So 8 comma 10 doesn't overlap with 1 comma 6. So we'll just add 8 comma 10. Now after 1 comma 6, what we will do, we have successfully added 8 comma 10 as well. The next step here is interval 15 comma 18, the last one. Here in this case it is the last one, 15 comma 18. We have already considered 8 comma 10. The last one is 15 comma 18. So here it doesn't overlap with the 8 comma 10 or no overlap with 8 comma 10. So what we will do, we will add 15 comma 18. So now we have added 15 comma 18 to the list as well. Now we have successfully added 1 comma 6, 8 comma 10 and 15 comma 18. Let's come to the final step here, this one. So the final output that we got is 1 comma 6, 8 comma 10 and 15 comma 18, which is equivalent to the output that they have given for the example 1 here in this case, right? So the approach works absolutely correct in this case. Now as we are completely familiar with the approach, let's move on with the edge cases. The first edge case is for the single interval in this case, right? So single interval, we have only 5 comma 7. The output will be quite obviously 5 comma 7. Why? Because no merging is needed here, right? Just for the single interval, no merging is needed. So we'll just return the same thing, return the input as output itself, 5 comma 7 as output. So let's go with the second edge case here. All disjoint intervals, see here 1 comma 2, 3 comma 4, 5 comma 6. In this case the output will be 1 comma 2, 3 comma 4, 5 comma 6, because the edge case itself states that all disjoint intervals, right? So in this case no overlaps, so we will return as it is. Let's move on with the third edge case here. This is for the edge case all intervals overlapping into 1. So when I say all intervals overlapping into 1, this is for the 1 comma 5, 2 comma 6 and 3 comma 7. This I'm speaking of this one, 1 comma 5, 2 comma 6 and 3 comma 7. So output that we got here is 1 comma 7 in this case, 1 comma 7. When I say 1 comma 7, all intervals merge into the single interval, right? Here in this case, see 1 comma 5, 2 comma 6 merges with 1 comma 5 and 3 comma 7 also merges with 1 comma 5. So what we will do, we'll take the least from 1 to 3, that is 1. This is fine. We'll take the largest digit from 5, 6 and 7, that is 7, right? In this case, so the output that we got here is 1 comma 7. So let's move on with the final edge case here, touching intervals. When I say touching intervals, we have 1 comma 3 and 1 comma 4 touching intervals here, right? So we have 1 comma 4, 1 comma 3 and sorry, this one is not this one, 3 comma 4. We are going with the touching intervals. I have written wrong here. So in this case 1 comma 3 and 3 comma 4, right? So this is touching intervals means this one. So we have the same value, right, for the left coordinate of the second this one interval and the right coordinate of the this one first interval. So what we'll do, um, this is overlapping with this one. So 1 is smaller and 4 is greater, so the output will be 1 comma 4 in this case, right? So here this is considered overlapping, so they will merge and we'll get the output 1 comma 4. Let's move on with the final edge case here. Intervals already merged, so here in this case we have 1 comma 5 and 6 comma 10. Output we will get this one itself, 1 comma 5 and 6 comma 10 itself, because we don't have the overlapping intervals here, right? So the output that we get here is 1 comma 5 and 6 comma 10. So no merging since there is no overlap here in this case, right? So these are the 4 edge cases that we need to keep in mind. The first edge case is for the single interval, the second edge case is for the all disjoint intervals, the third edge case is for the all intervals overlapping into one, the fourth edge case is for the touching intervals, and the fifth edge case is for the intervals already merged, right? So this is fine. So now we are completely familiar with the edge cases as well as the approach. As we are completely familiar with the edge cases as well as the approach, so we are good to write the code. Let's start writing the code. So the first step here is, let's sort the intervals based on the start. So accordingly with the approach, let's go accordingly with the approach here. So I'll just go with arrays dot sort. We have already discussed this one several times, right? So I'll just give you intervals, comma. So here a comma b. We are sorting this one in the ascending order, right? So this one will be a of 0 minus b of 0. This is fine. So the next step here is, we need a list to hold the merged intervals. So we'll be making use of the array list. We know this one, right? So I'll just go with list here. So type int. Let me mention this one here as type int. This is fine. So I'll just give here merged equals new array list. This is fine. So the next step here is, we have to iterate through the each interval, right? We have to iterate through the each interval. So I'll just make use of the simple for loop here for int. So here interval intervals. So this one I'll just give intervals, right? So this is fine. So within the for loop, what we'll do, if merged is empty, means this one I'm speaking of, the merged variable, if this is empty, then or no overlap, then we have to add that particular interval, right? So if merged is empty or no overlap, then we have to add that interval. Let me make the simple if condition here, merged. Let me make use of the is empty property, right? So this is fine. So where am I writing here? Let me cut this one. What did I do here? So let me do one thing here. We copy this one. So this is fine. So I'll just give here if merge dot is empty. So if it is empty or no overlap means, so here in this case we have to get the value in that case, right? So I'll just go with here merged. So I'll just make use of the get property, merged dot size hyphen 1. This is fine. One and this one has to be 1. So this is less than interval 0. This is fine. So what we will do here in this case, we will be making use of the add property here. So I'll just go with merge dot add of interval. So this is fine. So else what we will do here, else we will merge the intervals by updating the end time. So else we will merge the intervals by updating the end time. So I'll just go with here in this case merged dot get here merged dot size hyphen 1. So this will be 1 itself. I'll just give here math.max of. So we have to get the value. So I'll just make use of the get property here. This one will be again same thing, merged dot size here in this case. This is fine. I should have copied the same thing and made necessary changes, whatever the change that was required. This is fine. So this one hyphen 1 within the array, comma, this will be interval of 1. So I have typed this one entirely. This is fine. So the next step or the final step here is, so here what we are doing in this step, if merged is empty or no overlap, then we are adding the interval. That's what we have articulated the same thing with the code by in the form of code. So here else means else merge the intervals by updating the end time. So that's what we have done here in this case. So the final step is we have to convert the list to array, right? So in this step we have got the output, and the final step is we have to convert the list to the array. So here I'll just go with return merged dot to array. We are converting the list to array here. To array, we are making use of the to array right here. To array, within the to array function, I'll just give here new int, which is of integer type basically. I'll just go with merged dot size. So this is fine. So in this case, array. So yeah, let me format the code once and let me hit the run button. So here, yeah, this one I have misspelled here, right? So let me hit the run button again. So here you can clearly see the sample test cases are getting passed. Once the code works absolutely correct in this case, let me hit the submit button. So here you can clearly see all the test cases are getting passed. Means the code works absolutely correct in this case, right? So let's quickly discuss the complexities for the code that we have written. So here the approach that we went with here is greedy and sorting, right? So the approach that we went with here is greedy and sorting. So what would be the time complexity here? The overall time complexity would be because of n log n, because sorting is the main factor here, right? So here we are going with a for the sorting intervals, it takes big of n log n. We know this one. And for the merging intervals, it takes big of n. So sorting is the dominant factor here. So overall time complexity would be big of n log n, right? So let's discuss the space complexity as well. So what is the space complexity? Space complexity here. The space complexity here is big of n. Why? In the worst case, we are making use of the result list, right? So in the worst case, it requires big of n space complexity. If no intervals merge basically, right? So overall space complexity would be big of n in this case. So the time complexity for the code that we have written is big of n log n, and the space complexity is big of n, right? So I hope the complexities are completely clear, and I hope whatever the code that we have written is completely clear as well, right? For now, this is it. Thanks for watching, guys.